Hello and welcome to the Sacred Gates here on YouTube. My name is Illura and thanks for tuning in today. One of the greatest gifts that has come from my spiritual path, not one of, I would say the actually greatest gift that's come from my spiritual path, is the realization that, and the ability too as well, to see the human in the human being. That is the human in other people, the sacred humanity in other people and also in myself. It always feels a little harder to see it in yourself, but the more you see it in others, the more you are able to also feel the humanness in yourself and what you're really feeling, what you're awakening there when you see the humanity, when you see a person as a human being. What you're really awakening is compassion. And what awakens compassion is seeing the suffering in another, really seeing all they have endured, or that feeling at least of endurance in another person. There's definitely no one out there that's not suffering. As they say, joy is not inevitable, but suffering is. And everyone is going through suffering. Every child, every animal, every adult, every mum, every dad, every grandma, every grandpa, every neighbour, every work colleague, every cashier, every waiter and waitress, every boss, every political leader, everyone you hate and everyone that you don't know, everyone is going through their own experience of suffering and they're enduring. Some may have endured more than others, but just by existing here we are enduring a lot. And when we allow ourselves, when we're willing to see that endurance in another person, the sacredness of endurance itself within another, then we awaken the awareness that suffering exists in others and in ourselves. And we're then able to feel true compassion, really feel compassion for others. You don't have to know them. You don't have to even help everybody, unless obviously there's an emergency or something's happened. But it can be as simple as sitting back in a populated area and observing. Through observing, stillness emerges in our body and in our mind, and within in that stillness we're able to see more. Through observation emerges stillness, emerges clarity. And to see the suffering in another, to feel the endurance that they're carrying, the burden, the weight of life, of suffering itself, to feel compassion in that moment for them. It really aligns the heart. It clarifies our being. It clarifies our spirit. It really does connect to true love and to true compassion. True understanding really is what compassion truly is. And we have to be willing to feel, to see, in order to really know and understand and have more than just an intellectual understanding of someone, but to really have compassion. It actually makes life a lot easier when we see the suffering in others. It makes life a lot easier. In a way, if you've not experienced it before, it makes it easier in a way that's beyond the the intellectual mind's ability to perceive how it could be easier. In other words, you need to experience it to understand what I'm talking about here. So if you've never gone out and observed the suffering and actively, willingly looked to observe the suffering, let's just say just a basic level of endurance in your fellow man and woman and child, I really encourage you to take a moment to observe the suffering in others and be aware of how that moves you, shapes you, changes you, educates you, directs you, and what it does to your heart, what it does to your mind, what it does to your spirit. For there are many cosmic experiences I or any practitioner could speak of, but personally for me, what has been the most enlightening, the most meaningful, the most powerful, and when I say powerful, I mean powerful in an enlightened sense, it is to see the humanity in each other. to see through the eyes of kindness, to awaken that kindness, to observe that in another when you see it there. And that's something that's not that common these days. And I think at a deep, deep level, those that are not aware of their need for it really, really crave that and really need that. And those that are consciously wanting more of that in their life really feel that urge, that innate calling for more compassion, more connection. And it comes through seeing the suffering. The compassion that comes through when you feel the suffering in others gives you so much more endurance, strengthens you beyond what you could even imagine if you have not already experienced something like that. It's incredible. And so I encourage you to go out there and observe, to simply be willing to observe and see the suffering in others. Observe and see the suffering in your children, in yourself. Really let yourself feel it, and then observe what happens from that. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Bye-bye for now.